Alright, hear me out for a second. What if Google's insane success wasn't just about genius engineers or killer algorithms, but also about the actual numbers behind the name, the date it was founded, and even the birth dates of the founders themselves? I'm talking about numerology. Yeah, that ancient system people usually connect with mystics and horoscopes. But what if I told you it perfectly aligns with how Google became one of the richest companies on Earth? Like, scarily well. And no, this isn't some wishy-washy theory. I'm going to show you actual patterns, repeated numbers, energy codes, the kind of stuff that makes you go, wait, there's no way that's a coincidence. And the wild part? The same numbers that show up in Google's foundation also show up in the lives of its founders. And they just happen to be the kind of numbers associated with building systems that print money. In this video, I'm breaking it all down. We'll decode Google's numerology blueprint, how it ties into real wealth energy, and why this might just change the way you think about success, and maybe even your own business. Stick around, because this rabbit hole, it's deep and it's full of gold. Let's start with the basics. What even is numerology? Because I get it. If you've never looked into this stuff, it can sound a little out there. But think of numerology as the ancient version of a blueprint for energy. Yeah, energy. Everything around us. Names, dates, words has a vibration. And in numerology, those vibrations are tied to numbers. It's like the universe's way of coding behavior, outcomes, and even success. Now, the system we're using here is called Pythagorean numerology, the most widely accepted one out there. It's simple, but super insightful. Every letter of the alphabet is assigned a number from 1 to 9. You use those values to calculate things like someone's life path number, expression number, and destiny number. Each one reveals something different: your mission, your natural strength, and the path your energy is most aligned with. Let me give you an example to make it real. Say your birthday is July 14, 1990. You'd add those digits like this: 7, 1, 4, 1, 9, 0, 31. Then reduce that to a single digit: 3, 1, 4. Boom! Your life path number is 4, which in numerology means you're a builder, someone who thrives on structure and stability. Now apply that same logic to a company like Google. If a company is born on a certain date, it also has a life path number, and that can tell us a lot about how it's wired to function. And here's the kicker: numerology isn't just some philosophical thing. It's been used for thousands of years by royalty, military leaders, and even modern CEOs in India and China to choose names, brand launches, and company decisions. It's not just about belief, it's about pattern recognition. So before we dive into how Google fits into all of this, just keep this in mind. Numerology doesn't predict the future like a crystal ball. It shows you what kind of energy you're playing with. And when we applied it to Google, the results were insanely aligned with the empire they built. All right, now that we've laid the groundwork, let's take this ancient system and apply it directly to Google. We're about to decode the actual numbers behind the company, when it was founded, what its name adds up to, and even the energy behind its full business identity. This is where things start getting really interesting. Let's start with Google's founding date, September 4th, 1998. In numerology, dates are everything. You take each number in the date and reduce it to a single digit. So here's how we do it. 9 September plus 4 day plus 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 8 equals 40, and 4 plus 0 equals 4. So Google's life path number is 4. Now remember what we said about 4s. This number is known as the builder. It's all about structure, discipline, long-term thinking, and laying solid foundations. People and companies with a life path 4 don't rely on hype. They build systems. They scale patiently. They focus on results over noise. Sound familiar? That's exactly how Google operates. From search algorithms to YouTube, from Android to Google Maps. It's all systems. It's infrastructure. They don't chase trends. They create ecosystems. That's pure 4 energy at work. Now, let's look at the name, Google. Using the Pythagorean numerology chart, we assign a number to each letter. G equals 7. O equals 6. O equals 6. Add that up. 7 plus 6 plus 6 plus 7 plus 3 plus 5 equals 34, and 3 plus 4 equals 7. This is the expression number, and Google's is 7. Now this part blew my mind, because 7 is the number of the seeker, the analyst, the researcher. It's all about knowledge, intelligence, insight, and most importantly, data. People and businesses with a 7 expression number thrive when they tap into deep, complex systems of information. Sound familiar again? Google doesn't just provide search. It literally owns the flow of information on the internet. That's textbook 7 energy. They've monetized the pursuit of knowledge at a scale the world's never seen before. But we're not done yet. Let's look at the full company identity. Google Inc. When we break that down and calculate the full numerology value of all those letters, it comes out to 87. And 8 plus 7 equals 15. And 1 plus 5 equals 6. That's the destiny number. The number 6 is the nurturer. It's all about service, responsibility, and providing value to others. But here's the wealth twist. 6 energy creates success by serving the masses. It attracts abundance through community, harmony, and usefulness. Look at Google's mission: to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. That's 6 in action. They give you free email, free maps, free cloud storage, all to keep you in their world. The more people they serve, the more wealth they generate. That's the magic of the 6 energy at a global scale. So just to recap this numerology blueprint. Life path 4, builder, systems, structure, equals Google's long-term steady rise. Expression number 7, intelligence, data, wisdom, equals Google's monetization of search and information, destiny. Number 6, service, community, value, equals Google's mass adoption and user-first ecosystem. And here's the craziest part. This isn't just random. These 3 numbers actually complement each other. It's like a perfectly engineered triangle of wealth energy. The 4 builds it, the 7 fuels it with insight, and the 6 delivers it to the world. We're not even at the founders yet, but just from the company itself, you can already see how Google's entire DNA is aligned for massive, scalable, structured success. Now let's zoom in and look at the people behind Google, because if the company's numerology is aligned with wealth, what about the founders? Are their personal numbers just as in sync?
Spoiler alert.
They're not just aligned, they're almost copy-pasted from the same energy blueprint. Let's start with Larry Page, born on March 26, 1973. We calculate his life path number by adding all the digits. 3, March, plus 2, plus 6, plus 1, plus 9, plus 7, plus 3, 31, 3, plus 1, 4. Now let's do the same for Sergey Brin, born on August 21, 1973. August, plus 2, plus 1 plus 1 plus 9, plus 7 plus 3. 31 again, 3 plus 1, 4. Both Larry and Sergey have a life path number of 4, the exact same number as Google's founding date. And we're not just repeating numerology for fun here, this matters. Remember what the number 4 represents? Systems, structure, long-term vision, real builders, not flashy hype guys. The type of people who focus on frameworks, not fame. And doesn't that describe Page and Brin perfectly? They weren't out there tweeting every day or chasing the spotlight. They were building search engines in dorm rooms and rewriting the internet's foundation, one line of code at a time. Now think about the synergy here. The company was born with a 4 life path. The founders were born with a 4 life path. And the way they built Google? All systems, no fluff. That's not a coincidence. That's resonance. It's like the entire thing, from people to platform, was vibrating at the same frequency. That kind of alignment doesn't just make things work, it makes them inevitable. And when you overlay this with the expression number of 7, which represents intellectual depth and data mastery, and the destiny number of 6, which represents mass service and people-first business, you start to see the full wealth formula in action. Because here's the thing, numerology doesn't just describe who you are. It shows how energy flows through you, and if that flow is reinforced across every level, you get a multiplier effect. Let's break it down. The 4 in their life path gave them discipline, patience, and the mindset to build. The 7 in the company's name gave them the vehicle, knowledge, data, and algorithmic power. And the 6 in the company's identity gave them a scalable way to serve billions and generate billions in return. Now imagine if their life path numbers were 5s, rebels and disruptors, always changing direction, or 3s, creative storytellers, better in front of a camera than behind a whiteboard. Would Google have looked the same? Would it have scaled with the same methodical, near-flawless structure? Probably not. The fact that the people matched the company and the company matched the numbers is exactly why Google didn't just become a successful startup. It became a trillion-dollar institution. So now that we've decoded the numerology of both the company and its founders, let's shift gears and ask the big question. Did these numbers actually show up in the way Google built wealth? Like, can we see these energies reflected in their real-world decisions, strategies, and results? Short answer, 100% yes. And here's where it gets exciting. Because the numbers don't just match the vibe of the company, they map exactly to how Google built its empire. Let's start with the life path number 4, the builder. We said this number is all about structure, systems, and long-term planning. And when you look at Google's journey, this isn't a company that blew up overnight on a trend. They started in a garage, built an algorithm, and spent years refining the system before making it public. Even their ad platform, Google Ads, is a perfect expression of 4 energy. It's a structured, auction-based system where advertisers bid in real time for search traffic. It's not random, it's engineered. And that system brings in over 80% of Google's revenue. That's the 4 in action. Build a rock-solid system and let it scale itself. Now let's talk about the expression number 7, the thinker, the seeker, the data master. Google isn't just a tech company, it's an information empire. They process over 8.5 billion searches per day, and they're not doing it for fun. Every click, every keyword, every behavior is tracked, analyzed, and monetized. This is what 7 Energy thrives on: deep insight, data mastery, hidden patterns. It's not about hype or flash. It's about knowing more than everyone else and turning that insight into value. Google Search, Google Analytics, AI models, YouTube's algorithm. All of these are tools that take knowledge and weaponize it for influence and profit. That's textbook 7. The money doesn't come from the surface. It comes from understanding what lies beneath. Now, layer in the destiny number 6, the number of service and responsibility. 6 is about value delivery at scale. And think about it. Google gives away more world-class tools for free than probably any other company. Gmail, Maps, Docs, Drive, Android. Free, free, free. Why? Because 6 knows that service builds loyalty. Loyalty creates dependency, and dependency leads to control. When billions of people rely on you every day, your business model becomes bulletproof. But here's the genius part. While the tools are free, the data they generate is priceless. That's the blend of 6 and 7. Give value, collect data, monetize insight. It's a feedback loop that fuels itself. Even the move to create Alphabet, a parent company to hold Google and all its side projects, is classic 4 behavior. Think about it. They didn't just expand, they structured their expansion. Alphabet is a literal system for innovation. Each company inside it is a compartmentalized engine with its own purpose, budget, and focus. Its organizational architecture, not chaos. That's a builder's move. So, to bring it all together, the 4 shows up in systems like AdWords, Alphabet, and long-term engineering. The 7 shows up in data, algorithms, AI, and monetization of information. The 6 shows up in mass services, trust building, and global user adoption. And when you combine those 3 energies, you get a company that serves billions, understands their behavior, and monetizes their needs at scale on autopilot. It's not magic, it's alignment. Strategic, energetic, structural alignment. And honestly, it's kind of genius. Now that we've broken down Google's numbers and mapped them directly to their systems and strategy, let's talk about how this energy alignment didn't just create a company, it created billionaires. Because when the people building the system share the same numerical frequency as the system itself, the wealth creation potential skyrockets. Let's start again with Larry Page and Sergey Brin, both with Life Path 4, the builder. That number is not flashy, it's not impulsive, it's not about taking wild risks or jumping from idea to idea. It's about laying brick after brick, designing frameworks, and scaling what works. And that's exactly how they built their personal wealth, not by speculation, but by engineering. These guys didn't create a product, they created a platform. A system so ingrained in daily life that people don't even realize they're using it. You don't visit Google anymore, you live inside it. Let's connect the dots. Larry and Sergey, both 4s, created a 4-energy company on a 4-energy date. That 444 alignment isn't just numerology trivia, it's energetic synergy. It means that the way they think, the way they plan, and the way they operate all perfectly sync with the company's natural flow. And what happens when you operate in full alignment with your environment? You move effortlessly, your decisions feel intuitive, you build momentum faster than someone fighting against their own wiring. That's why Google didn't just become big, it became inevitable. Now here's where it gets even deeper. As we've already seen, the company carries a 7 expression number and a 6 destiny number. So while Larry and Sergey are the 4s, focused on building, the company itself is structured to think deeply and serve widely. This means the founders didn't need to be the visionaries and the empathic connectors and the researchers. The company itself carried those frequencies. All they had to do was build the vessel, and the vessel, it did the rest. Let's look at their personal wealth. Larry Page is worth over $125 billion, and Sergey Brin around $120 billion. That wealth didn't come from jumping between startups or chasing fads. It came from ownership of the system. The 4 in them built something stable. The 7 in the company turned knowledge into power, and the 6 opened it to the world at scale. Now for contrast, imagine if Google were founded by someone with a Life Path 5, which is about freedom, change, and adventure. That person might have gotten bored and pivoted early. Or a Life Path 3, creative, expressive, great storytellers, but maybe less drawn to system building. You see how the energy mismatch could have disrupted everything. Google's wealth blueprint wasn't just about business decisions, it was energetic engineering. The numbers behind it created a foundation that amplified wealth through resonance, not resistance. And that's the key takeaway. Personal energy plus business energy equals legacy-level wealth, if they're aligned. So when you wonder how 2 Stanford PhDs quietly built one of the most dominant companies in history, numerology gives you an answer that strategy books can't. They were wired for it. And so was the company they created. Now let's address the question that's probably bouncing around in your head right now. Wait, is this all just a coincidence? Like, come on, founders and company all having matching numbers. That sounds too perfect, right? Totally fair question. And here's where things get even more fascinating. Because once you start seeing how often numerology lines up with real-world success stories, you realize this isn't just some quirky pattern you stumble across once in a while. It's a system, a repeatable, observable framework that shows up over and over, especially in high-stakes environments like business and finance. Let's pull back for a second. In Eastern business culture, numerology isn't some secret. It's standard practice. In China, companies literally spend millions to get lucky phone numbers, street addresses, and even stock listing codes that add up to favorable numerology digits. You'll rarely see a successful brand launch in India without at least a quick consult with a numerologist to make sure the name vibrates with success energy. Even in the West, where this stuff is often dismissed as woo, there are countless examples of entrepreneurs who've unintentionally aligned with their numbers and later discovered just how well it all matched up. Steve Jobs, Oprah, Elon Musk. When you run the numbers, a lot of them check out. It's not always planned, but when it's aligned, things move smoother, faster, bigger. Now here's where it gets practical. Whether you believe numerology influences outcomes or just think it's a fun pattern-matching system, it still has value, because what it really does is bring awareness to alignment. And alignment, that's where momentum lives. When the energy behind a business aligns with the people driving it, and with the timing of its launch, success doesn't feel like a grind. It starts to compound. Opportunities seem to show up, systems scale, and it's not because you cast a spell, it's because you're moving in harmony with the blueprint you were already built for. So is Google's success just a coincidence? Maybe. But when the founders, the name, the date, and the structure of the company all reflect the exact numerology traits tied to long-term wealth, data mastery, and global service, it starts to feel less like a fluke and more like a formula. And if that formula is even a little real, imagine what you could do by knowing your own numbers, aligning your brand with the right energy, and making decisions that flow instead of fight. Because here's the truth. Whether you believe in the numbers or not, they're already influencing everything around you. So why not understand the code? Alright, so by now, you've seen how deeply Google's success story mirrors its numerology blueprint, from the company's foundation, to the minds behind it, to the empire it built. But let's pull everything together and break it down into a simple, memorable formula. This isn't just about cool number trivia. This is about seeing the wealth code in action. Google's numerology alignment boils down to 3 powerhouse numbers. 4, the builder. 7, the thinker. 6, the server. Let's put these into real-world terms. The 4 laid the foundation. It's the reason Google feels like infrastructure instead of a product. It's why their systems run quietly in the background, processing billions of actions per day with machine-like precision. Think of 4 as the silent architect behind it all. The 7 is the mind. It's the search engine, the algorithm, the analysis. It's the reason Google doesn't just store data, it understands it. 7 energy is like the brain that turns raw information into monetizable intelligence. It's why Google can sell ads with laser accuracy. It's why it became the most trusted answer machine on Earth. And the 6, that's the heart, the part of the business that gives value. It's Gmail, Maps, Docs, Chrome, Android, all the free tools you use daily without paying a dime. That's 6 energy at scale. And because it gives so much to the world gives back in loyalty, trust, and yes, billions of dollars in ad revenue. Here's the kicker. When these 3 numbers work together, you get a self-sustaining wealth engine. 4 builds the system, 7 powers the system with intelligence, 6 delivers the system to billions. It's like a triangle of momentum. Each number supports the other. And when a business, its brand, and its leaders are all vibrating at those same frequencies, You don't just get growth, you get legacy-level wealth. So what's the takeaway here? Success isn't just about hustle. It's not just luck or timing, it's alignment. When the people, the mission, and the timing all move in harmony, Google didn't just ride the tech wave, it created it. Through structure, data mastery, and scalable service, and the numerology just reveals what was already happening under the surface. So here's a question worth asking. If these numbers helped Google create a $1 trillion empire, what are your numbers saying about your path? Because maybe, just maybe, the secret to wealth isn't in the market. It's already written in your math. So now that you've seen how deeply numerology ties into Google's rise, here's the fun part. You're probably wondering how to find your own numbers and what they might reveal about your potential for wealth, success, or business alignment. Well, let's keep it simple. Start with your life path number. It's the foundation. Take your full birth date, add up all the digits, and reduce it to a single digit, unless it's a master number, 11, 22, or 33. This number tells you your core energetic path, how you naturally approach work, money, and creation. Here's a quick example. Say you were born on June 17th, 1990, 6 plus 1 plus 7, 1 plus 10 plus 0 to 33. Since 33 is a master number, you don't reduce it further. You'd be working with master number 33, which is about big picture service, healing, and uplifting others. Super aligned with creating value at scale, much like that Destiny 6 we saw in Google. Next, look at your expression number. This comes from your full name at birth. It shows the talents and natural tools you came into the world with. You calculate it by converting every letter of your name into a number using the Pythagorean chart, adding them up, and reducing the total. This number tells you how you create results. Then there's your destiny or soul urge number, which comes from the vowels in your name. This one reveals what drives you at a deeper level, the why behind your moves. So why does this matter? Because when your personal numbers are aligned with the work you do, the business you build, or even the name of the brand you operate under, everything clicks faster. You feel less friction. The world responds more naturally to your energy. Google didn't need to force its growth. It scaled because it was energetically engineered for what it became. And now that you've seen what that looks like, you've got a powerful new lens to look at your own business, career, or even that brand name you're thinking of launching. This isn't just about curiosity, it's about calibration. Ask yourself, is my life path aligned with the kind of business I'm trying to build? Does the name of my brand carry the right frequency for what I want to attract? Am I building in sync with my numbers or working against them? Because sometimes the reason something isn't working is just math. All right, so now that your brain is probably buzzing with all this, let's land the plane. We just decoded one of the most powerful companies on Earth using nothing but numbers. And those numbers told a story of precision, alignment, purpose, and above all, wealth built on energy that matched the mission. Google didn't become a $1 trillion empire by accident. It was born on a 4-energy date, built by 2 4-energy founders, branded with a name that carries a 7, the seeker of knowledge. And it operates with a destiny aligned to 6, the ultimate provider of service to the world. That's not random. That's architecture, a wealth blueprint hidden in plain sight. So now the question flips to you. What are your numbers saying? Are you building with the right energy? Does your brand, your business, even your birth date align with your goals? This isn't about superstition. It's about tapping into something deeper. Something thousands of years old that still shows up in modern boardrooms, brand names, and billion-dollar decisions. Because when you move in alignment with your numbers, you stop forcing success and start flowing with it. And if you're sitting there wondering, what's my life path number? Or Does my business name even align with what I want to do? Drop your birthday in the comments. I'll decode a few myself. Let's explore your blueprint. And hey, if this blew your mind even a little, just wait. We've got more coming. Want to see the numerology behind Apple, Tesla, Elon Musk? Yeah, it gets wild. So hit that subscribe button, because this rabbit hole, we're just getting started.